Hello, and welcome to our January workshop, Hassle-Free Homework, Taking the Stress Out of Homework Time. This workshop is for parents who are currently struggling to get their children to complete homework, or for those who might want to prevent future issues with homework. So homework is not always smooth and easygoing. It is very normal for parents and children to occasionally butt heads when it is time to complete homework. But if this is becoming a regular issue for you, it might be time to change things up, try a different approach, and a few of the tips and suggestions that we will mention in this workshop. So our very first suggestion is to set children up for success. Like we have discussed in many of our parenting classes, routine makes things much more predictable for children, and they're much more willing to cooperate when there is a set routine and an expectation of what the next thing will be. So we're going to talk about a few ways in which we can set them up for success and create a strong routine around completing homework. As the saying goes, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Right? So getting our kids into a routine before homework troubles arise can help us prevent troubles down the road. So our first tip is to allow for decompression first. And what does that mean? It means allow for rest and time to unwind after school. So when children come home, keep in mind that they have been using all of their self-regulation skills all day long. They have been trying new things, they have been learning new skills and concepts, and that can be a really exhausting thing for children, especially in the younger grades. So just like adults need time to relax between work and home duties, children do as well. So allow your child at least an hour between arriving home and starting their homework. Allow them to get a snack or provide one for them. Encourage them to spend some time outside, being physical, and give them lots of unstructured playtime. This is actually very crucial for their development, and it will also set you up to have fewer power struggles when homework does start. Tip number 2, create a homework zone. So this could be really anywhere in your home that has a flat surface, a desk or a table, and is going to be quiet enough that your child will not be interrupted or distracted. So try to have it be the same place every time, whether it's a desk in their room or the dining room table. And that's their go-to spot. And also make sure that they have all of their supplies ready to go so that once they do get into the flow of homework, they're not having to go collect more supplies and come back and have to refocus. Have everything right there at hand. And then finally, keep a predictable routine. So try to have the same sequence of events in your afternoon or evening routine. So it might be decompression time, it might then snack, then homework, then dinner. That's a typical routine. But it's really important that that sequence of events, not exactly the timing of it, but how one event follows the other, that's the most important. And also try not to leave homework for too late in the evening so that children are still awake enough and functioning well enough that they can focus and use some of those skills that they learned at school. Okay. Many parents wonder, how much should I be helping my child with their homework? And there's no one set rule, but it's going to vary pretty widely depending on the age of your child, their skill level, and just their level of independence in general. Most teachers will tell you that homework is an exercise in review, that it's a chance to practice skills and recall information that was already covered in class. So as a parent, you're unlikely to be teaching your child something new. You might have to review some things with them, which can be a little bit nerve-wracking for parents, but you can always speak to your child's teacher if you need a little bit of extra assistance in this. And even though it is review, that doesn't mean that your child will feel 100% confident in completing the work on their own. So results will vary. Okay, here are a few tips for how much you should help your child. It's a good rule of thumb that the younger the child, the more support they're going to need. Now, we really do not want to complete homework for children. That might seem easier in the moment, but it's taking away the opportunity for them to recall and review important information that they gained in class. There are many other ways that you can support your child. So number one, for younger children, review the homework before you expect them to begin. This doesn't have to be very long. It can just be a minute or two of checking in with your child. What do you expect it to complete today? Okay, 1, 2, 3 papers. And then asking them, how are you feeling about doing this? And let me know if you need any help. It's also equally important to do a quick glance at the work after it's been completed, just to see if anything has been left undone or if there are any glaring issues. I will also say that you should not feel compelled to fix every single mistake that your child makes. Mistakes are opportunities for the teacher to see where your child is at in building their skills. And it's actually very important for your child's teacher to know if they are missing some information or do need extra support in an area. Number 2, watch your child for signs of exhaustion or frustration. Notice if that frustration is building and if they need to take a break. It's much better to to redirect your child to a break before they get to the point of being too frustrated to sit down. When giving direct help, allow them to struggle before giving the answer to them. So allow children to challenge themselves and learn from their mistakes by giving them small amounts of help to get them a little bit closer to the answer without doing it for them. So we want them to sort of work those muscles, those intellectual muscles, those academic muscles. It doesn't need to be easy and quick. It's actually good if there's a little struggle involved. And number 4, as children get older, they will need help with long-term planning. As children enter late elementary school and go into middle school, chances are their teachers are going to start giving them longer assignments, projects that take weeks or even a month or more to complete. So helping your child plan how they're going to complete these long-term assignments ahead of time will prevent procrastination and frustration down the road when they're trying to cram in a month-long project into one weekend. You want to avoid that because that is definitely going to make homework more stressful. And finally, when things don't go according to plan. So sometimes, no matter how much we try, homework does not go smoothly. And this can be a time when we need to reassess if there are some external factors that could be playing a role in the frustration and stress that you and your child are feeling. So here are some questions to ask yourself. If you're finding that you are having daily or near daily struggles with your child and homework. So if your child is showing signs of burnout, if they just seem too exhausted to complete homework, if they're needing a lot of breaks, an unusual amount of breaks, it's time to assess, do they need a break from homework in general, or is the amount of homework too much? This can happen. Children are exhausting all of their capacities at school during the day, and they come home and sometimes it builds and builds and it's cumulative, and they need to take a break from homework. And if this is the case, if you're expecting this because you're seeing signs of burnout, it's time to speak to your child's teacher about modifying the type and the amount of homework that they receive nightly. Most teachers, especially in the lower elementary grades, are open to flexibility around what the child needs to complete. And it's just important to keep that communication open and let your child's teacher know how it is affecting them. The second question to ask yourself would be, are they not understanding something key? So frequent homework frustration can also be a sign that your child is not retaining important learning from class. So this is another subject to discuss with teachers and explore what is going on with the learning gaps. Does it have to do with something the teacher is missing, or might there be any underlying problems that are not being addressed? Is your child not stimulated enough at school? Are they overstimulated? These are all good questions to bring to a teacher when you see that homework is a constant frustration. And then finally, if this is a habitual problem, if it's really every day or close to every day, and you are seeing signs that it has more to do with your child's academic learning, with their retention, this is probably time to assess whether your child needs more academic support. And again, your child's teacher will be able to give you a lot of information on what they're seeing in class, what they typically see with other students, and support can take many forms. So it can be starting an assessment for an IEP or an individual education plan. It can be getting a tutor for your child, or simply setting up a parent-teacher conference and seeing how your teacher themselves can better support your child in the classroom. I hope that this short but sweet workshop helps you, and you have some ideas on how to troubleshoot any homework problems that you are experiencing with your child, and best of luck.